Hello, I'm Leslie Trogdon, and I'd like to spend a few minutes with you to review the Education 780 syllabus for the dissertation proposal seminar. I'm going to take a moment just to toggle off the camera so that you can read the syllabus, so give me just a moment here. All right, so here we should be able to go. The syllabus, I don't think we need to go over the goals because you can read about the goals. The course description is important, and I'd like to spend a minute or two just reviewing this. The course is an introduction to the various components of the dissertation proposal. And course assignments are designed so that you become familiar with the information you need so that you know what's necessary in the first 3 chapters of a dissertation. So you'll have an opportunity to learn techniques for integrating peer-reviewed research into a cohesive literature review that's presented. Requirements of the introduction and the research method chapters are also examined. And university policies and procedures covering the proposal defense and the dissertation defense are explained. So with this course description, it's important for you to understand that you'll be learning how to conduct the research with the necessary components that are needed for chapters 1, 2, and 3. So you'll have, if we move on to the rationale, you'll have an opportunity to get individualized instruction and feedback as it relates to writing the dissertation with chapters 1 through 3. So we won't focus at all on chapters 4 and 5, but we here, like it says, all of you will review requirements for the first 3 chapters and receive individualized feedback on all of the course assignments. So the goal, the end in mind, by the end of the course, you'll become familiar with the dissertation proposal requirements, and as a result, you'll improve your skills as a reader, writer, and researcher. So there are 3 goals. 1, you have a better understanding of the conventions and expectations of a dissertation. You'll develop reading, writing, and researching processes to help you reach your end goal. And your goal is that you'll establish a possible dissertation topic. It doesn't necessarily mean that this will be your dissertation topic, but you will get to practice with a topic. As you practice with this topic, you'll become again familiar with the components of Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3. We won't go through the course objectives right now. I'll let you read those on your own. We've already talked a little bit about the text being the Lunenburg and Irby text. That's very, very important. That tells you how to write the various sections and chapters of the draft dissertation proposal. And I think the rest of this you can read on your own. We talked about a dissertation handbook on the PowerPoint presentation. You might want to download that document and have it right by your side as you're practicing these assignments. And you'll also, this dissertation handbook you'll have right by your side when you're writing your real dissertation after you pass your comprehensive exam. Here's a little bit about the grading. There will be a total of 1,000 points earned in class participation and on assignments. And we have rubrics and due dates for each assignment, and that's included in this syllabus. Here kind of gives you a breakdown of what each component or each assignment in terms of points that you can earn, maximum possible points. But again, if you add up all of these, it totals up to 1,000 points for this particular class. We'll go over each one of these assignments here in just a moment. It's important for you to note here that all assignments except for the final draft of your paper at the end of this course and the proposal overview may be resubmitted once after the first submission is evaluated and returned. The highest grade earned will be applied toward the course grade. We can talk more about this in week 2, but all except for your final paper due at the end of the class and the proposal overview, you can't resubmit those, but you can resubmit all of the other assignments simply because it takes practice, and we want you to have that opportunity to master these various assignments that are due. Here's the late submission of assignments. It's very important that you turn assignments in on time. You cannot get behind in this class or you will never catch up. It's a writing intensive class and you have to have all assignments due at 5:30 p.m. of the due date specified in this syllabus. And any assignment submitted after the deadline may earn up to 90% of the possible grade. So here's the grading scale. Let's see if there's here about course requirements and expectations. This course is designed to improve your skills related to research development, so it's probably one of the most important classes of your course sequence. You'll have opportunities to apply your learning not only during class but in groups and individual learning activities, and we expect full participation in all of our classroom discussions and activities. And make sure that you have all of the required materials available to complete the learning. One of the things that I like about teaching in different parts of the state is I get to learn about the unique perspectives and your personal experiences that you bring to education. And so I look forward to our sharing and our discussion in class. Attendance is absolutely critical because we're sharing ideas with one another, we're learning from one another, and we're definitely learning new information. And so again, it is very hard to catch up if you are unable to be in class. Make sure you let me know in advance if there's a problem, but it is your responsibility to stay current with the readings and the assigned work. A 10% grade reduction will be assigned for any assignment after the deadline. Again, here explains our attendance policy, and it's just absolutely essential that you attend class. Here are the course materials for you that we've talked a little bit about, the Lunenburg and Irby texts, and there are also some resource materials, not only in the syllabus, but also on ALNet. You have lots of good resource materials. Here is the course schedule. Week 1, as you know, you were to read chapters 1 and chapters 3 through 5. And those chapters will give you an introduction to the course, a little bit about what a dissertation contains, the dissertation stages, and the dissertation topics. All of this, I have created a PowerPoint, a narrated PowerPoint for you to listen to. Week 2, we'll go into the Lunenburg and Irby texts. So read chapter 7 prior to class, and there are a couple of articles, and we'll go over this in more detail at the end of class 1. But we'll talk about reviewing the literature, the research tools that you have available, and any research questions. Week 3 is kind of up to discussion. Right now the syllabus says no class, but we may have class, and I'll give you more information about that on week 2. But you do have an assignment that is due at the beginning of week 3, which is a bibliography draft, and we'll go in more detail with that here in just in a moment. Week 4 is another assignment that's due, where you'll have a research outline and an annotated bibliography. And right now that doesn't mean a whole lot to you, so we'll discuss that in further detail. Week 5, you don't have anything due, But we will begin the research methods part of our discussion and our learning. And then on week 6, you have your Chapter 1 draft that's due. And week 7, we'll talk a little bit about Chapters 4 and 5, although you won't be doing any kind of writing assignments related to Chapters 4 and 5. But on week 7, you will have your Chapter 3 draft and an IRB form that is due. And week 8, that will be an opportunity for you to share overviews of each of your draft proposals. And I'll also provide you with a chair information form for you to complete in class. And then your final draft of your chapters 1 through 3 for practice are due on VIA. And again, note this schedule is subject to change, as I mentioned about week 3. I'm not quite sure about class with week 3, but I'll have more information for you on week 2 when I see you in class. Just a particular note, these proposal overviews are presentations, and we may have to start some of the proposal overviews on week 7, depending on how many students are enrolled. I think I've got a pretty good hefty amount of students in the Macon group, so it could be that we start some of those presentation overviews on week 7. These are the articles that you'll need to complete for, you can see the hyperlinks work. These are the articles that you'll need to have read prior to our week 2 session. And again, we'll go over that review in just a moment later on in our class tonight. And you have an article here, hyperlink, that's due for week 3. Here's an overview of class assignments. There are a total of 8 class assignments. The bibliography draft, this is one that is due on week 3. And so that's important that we'll talk more about it. But just know that for each of these 8 assignments, there are rubrics for each of these at the back of this syllabus. And again, as a reminder, the assignments that have an asterisk by it may be resubmitted if the grade on the previous draft is below 90%. The highest grade earned will be applied toward the course grade. So again, we want to give you the opportunity. We know practice, it takes practice, and sometimes we need a longer time to reach the goal that we're striving to on our assignments. Here's a description of each of the assignments. The bibliography draft, again, that's worth 100 points, are references developed while investigating your proposed research topic presented in APA style. And again, that one is due on week 3. This describes, I'm not going to go over detail each of these other assignments right now because we'll discuss them later in class, but you can see a description of each of these 8 assignments below. Here's the chair information form. Here's what the Chapter 1 draft is. Here's what the Chapter 3 draft and the final draft, and what's included in the final draft, your last paper. Here's the IRB form and what that is. Here's the proposal overview. We'll talk more about the research outline and the annotated bibliography, especially on week 2, because I think that particular assignment is due on week 4. And here are all of the grading rubrics. So here's, let's just kind of review the bibliography right now. What you'll be doing for this particular assignment, which is due at the beginning of week 3, and we'll discuss in more detail, is you're going to be compiling a list of references in APA style. And so these are references that pertain to your topic. So really by the end of class 1, week 1, by the end of tonight, you really do need to decide on a topic that you're going to practice your assignments on. That topic may end up being your dissertation topic for real, or it may not. But again, the point of this class is to gain practice in beginning to learn the components of what it takes to write a chapters 1, 2, 3. It's not as if you're developing a full chapters 1, 2, 3 with these assignments, but you have to have a topic so that you can complete all of the assignments. And by week 3, you will need to have researched at least at the exemplary level 35 or more references that are listed on a bibliography or references page. And the sources of the references all need to be either books, peer-reviewed journal articles, or government documents, or dissertations. And tonight we're going to go over the database in the William Woods Library for you to access peer-reviewed articles and dissertations so that you can begin after tonight, after week 1, to compile these references because you have to have a list of these references done by the beginning of week 3. And all of that needs to be in correct APA style. Punctuation and spelling are used throughout. So that's a little bit about the bibliography, and again, we'll be talking more about that later on this evening. Again, here are all the rest of the rubrics that you can look over. They're quite extensive right now, so I don't want to confuse you with terminology, but just know that those are there for your review. And I think that is the end of our syllabus review. We'll be referencing some more parts of this syllabus later on tonight, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to, just wanted to give that opportunity of a review for you so you know what the expectations are in Education 780. So I'll see you in just a few minutes on another video.